So this is going to be my version of the tin can makeover. Though some of these aren't cans, some are wooden, but does anybody have a stash of these in your hoard?
Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you are on Ginger Chick Rehab. Yes, I am taking my junk pile load of tins and galvanized and just metal items, and it is time to take this grouping and make them over. So in today's video, I am sharing the process with you all, my vision, my inspiration of what to do with these types of items.
And not always do you have to paint them over. This is an old can. It's got some rust on it. It has some age on it. It's that patina that we're trying to make. Yes, it has rust even in the inside, but it's a beautiful red color. And how many of you would have just walked away from a can that looked like this? Yes, I paid money for it. I absolutely love the age of it. So I'm going to start off by cleaning it to give it a good prep surface inside and out, even that rust. Now, with that rust coming off on my fingers even after cleaning it, I want somebody to be able to still use this as storage, maybe not for food per se, but for other odds and ends and not having to worry about the rust getting off of it. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this in with some Weather Defense, which is a wonderful sealer for metals. Actually, when I purchased that taller one, I actually purchased this shorter one. Same patina, same color. There's just something about that age and that red. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do the same procedure on this one by cleaning it up and getting that rust sprayed and sealed in. And here was my inspiration. I knew that I had this beautiful paper, this decoupage paper, and these guys are usually one of my best sellers. So when I saw those red tins and the size of them, I'm like, oh, I can put the chickens and the cow on those. They will fit almost perfectly. So I just need to get them cut out from the sheet. So now that I have my decoupage paper cut out, I'm actually going to Mod Podge it on a piece of white copier paper. Yep, just plain white copier paper. And what this is going to do is it's going to make my decoupage paper pop more. If I would just put it on the tin, it would almost come transparent. You wouldn't really see that image quite as clear. And I want to keep the tins the way that they are, so I don't want to paint my tin white just to have my image pop. So I finally think I figured this little hack out of putting the paper onto a piece of copier paper. Now I know that my image is going to be way too big for this can, so what I'm going to do is I have this nice contraption. I don't even know what you call it, Tracy. Thank you for sending it to me. I will share her link down below. It's just a wonderful stand to hold your round objects. But now I need to cut off that excess. It's just way too much to fit onto this can. And then I did realize that I want that whole image, especially where the wreath is, and it doesn't have that paper underneath it, just the size of the copier paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and just glue a little bit more down just to that corner so I make sure that everything is backed. Now that I have the shape that I want, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to burn my edges. My normal way of distressing with a sander or just ripping the paper isn't going to work when I have this 2 layers. So I like to make it look like my labeling is coming off and it has that aged look. So we're going to go ahead and burn the edges. Now my Mod Podge is still wet, so that means I have a little bit of a control. As you see, I have it over my bucket of water, so if my fire gets out, I can just drop it. And I'm only working in little bitty sections and tapping it out with my rag and making sure that everything is good to go. And I'll just work around the entire image. Oh my gosh, I will tell you, this is, it looks a little scary, but really it gives a great effect. And like I said, safety first, bucket of water, get a rag. You know, if it did like burst in flames for some reason, I would just drop it into the bucket of water. Who would have thought burned edges could be so gorgeous? Oh my gosh. So now all I need to do is just put Mod Podge on the back of it and glue it on. See, the nice thing is I guess you could paint, but I was unsure, like, if I painted in the moisture, would that seep all the way through the Mod Podge or the decoupage paper and change the color, which I didn't want. And then trying to keep a circle in the space on a tin that I wanted to keep red, that didn't seem very feasible. So, you just kind of come up with what you can in your head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, let's see if this works. And it is working out wonderful. So yep, just getting a nice coating of that Mod Podge, and then we'll get this on the tin. And then of course I'm like, oh, hold on. I forgot my lid. I got so excited about getting this on the tin itself that I forgot that I need to put my lid on, especially remove the glue first because I don't want to glue my lid on. Remember, I want somebody to make sure that it's usable. And when I was doing my tin, I made sure that the seam was in the back, so I was doing the front of the tin. And on this one, I didn't want to cut off the wreath, so the wreath is actually going to go onto the lid just a smidgen, but I will make a cut mark so it will be able to be removed. It just, to me, I didn't want to cut any more off of it than I had to. Since this is thicker, I really don't have a ton of wrinkles going on. It's really easy to apply to the tin and get it smoothed down. Though I actually like wrinkles because I like to add a little distressing at the end, so the wrinkles help with my distressing. So yes, unfortunately, while it was still wet, I wanted to be able to puncture the paper, which is, paper just likes to kind of tear. So I just tried to have my sharp X-Acto knife and just kind of make puncture marks so I could get these two separated. And like I said earlier, I like to make my paper look aged. So I'm going to be doing a mixture of Waverly Antiquing Wax and Jolie's Black Wax, and my paper is still wet. I find that, paper would really grab onto the color if it's dry. So if I keep it wet and work with my waxes, I can get that effect that I'm looking for. So all I'm doing is very gingerly, very lightly rubbing some of the black on. I'm blending that burnt area into the paper, giving it a little bit more age like it's an old label. I have a piece of drop cloth to wipe off any excess. And you could always have a clear wax also on hand as an eraser if you went crazy and you got too much on. But I just see how I like a little bit of wrinkles because it just gives it that nice aged look. And now I just have a little bit of the Waverly Antiquing Wax. I like mixing the two together. That really gives it that really aged look. So now I'm just going around the outer edge, just ever so slightly bringing into where the chickens are. But oh my goodness, so much fun. So to seal this paper in after actually my waxes aren't even dry, I'm just spraying on some more of that Weather Defense to seal my paper in. Oh, so what did you think of the burning technique? So we're going to repeat the same process on the next can. So it's really going to be a repeat for this one, but oh my goodness, I love being able to back these on copier paper. For me, it is a game changer. And being able to distress it by burning the edges. Oh, wow. I just absolutely love this technique. And if you find that your paper's drying out just a little bit, I just took that same rag and wet it down just a little bit more to make sure it was getting adhered properly. So is anybody else drawn to these? The older, the better. The patina on them are just gorgeous. I never have the heart to paint these old tins. So this is a wonderful way to get them back out there and give them new life. And yes, just sometimes you don't even need to put the special little animal in the middle. I love this grain sack wreath one just as much as I love the animals in the middle. So, but I do have a little bit of a twist, so stay tuned. But we're going to do that same concept. Oh my gosh, that backing of that copier paper just pops the image just wonderful. And it feels, it just, if you could feel that on the tin is just amazing. Now on this one, I didn't really want to take too much of the image off itself. So I actually left a little bit of an edging of the copier paper. And so, you know, as you're working with a project, I've never done this before, you guys. You're watching it brand new. First time I'm ever doing it. I just kind of want to burn the copier paper and just touch ever so slightly. Look at me with my control issues, trying to control fire on paper, but it's wet. But most of it is still wet, so that is the control. So yes, just ever so slightly, and you can see that it really doesn't want to catch the decoupage paper on fire as much because that is wet, and then the copier paper that's on the outside doesn't have any Mod Podge, so that is actually burning it a little bit faster. Oh, I actually tore my paper just a little bit when I was wiping it off with that wet rag. My bad, but you know what? I think it just gives it some more age. You know, it is what it is, and you just work with what happens as you're working on the project. So, yep, just some more of that wax around the edges that just really ties that burnt edge in. I was afraid that it was going to be too muted of colors, just nothing to pop. So I'm like, hey, I wonder if some of these transfers will work on it. And I absolutely love the butterflies and the flowers of this Millot Pages IOD transfers. So I'm just going to kind of, I know the sheet you can place them all on all at once, or you can cut out here and there what you want, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pick out similar flowers and cut them out. I believe this is what one would call mixed media, where I'm using decoupage paper, I'm using transfers. So, you know, we're just layering upon layers. And it's kind of fun because I'm putting a little bit on the paper, but I'm also putting it on the tin. Also, oh my goodness, y'all. Now, before I show you my reveal, I actually have two cans, just like the red cans. I picked up these two because the patina is awesome. But yeah, they're just one of those items that people just aren't interested in. So luckily, when I ordered this paper from Piglet's Closet from Sarah's store, you can actually order different sizes, and I actually ordered as small as it would come, y'all. So that is wonderful. So when we're getting into these littler cans, that the paper will fit. And I'll link everything down in the description below so you can go check it out if you are interested. So I did need to cut this one down a little bit more. So if you notice, this paper is a little bit smaller than that first paper. And I don't think I said with the earlier one that I actually let my paper completely dry overnight with the wax on it and everything to be able to apply the transfers on here. Now to seal these in, I'm going to go ahead and use some natural clear wax. Sometimes I find if I spray my transfers, just depending on the spray, it kind of crinkles them. So I'm choosing just to use some clear wax. Have you guys had that experience when you've sprayed them with a clear coat that they do funny things? So I just always seal them in with natural wax. You all did see that table full of items that I wanted to do. I might have overestimated. Yeah, so I broke this up into 3 videos to give you inspiration for all the items that were on that table. You all, oh my goodness. So anyway, yes, for this sugar bucket, I actually have had it. It's been in my stash. I painted it. Nobody cared for it painted. It's just one of those items that just didn't really sell. And so now that I have been using some of the Fusions paints, love testing these out on smaller items. And Vonda from the Painted Heirloom hooks me up with these beautiful, like this new Bellwood color. Oh my goodness, y'all. And she also offers a 10% discount for first time buyers. So make sure you check out her store if you're loving on the color I'm using, or even that is where I get my IOD transfers from also. And I actually love the colors that I have been getting, along with I love the Fusion paint because it has a primer and a top coat, so one product coverage. And actually on this sugar bucket, it's covering in one coat. Then this one has a cute little lid that goes with it. Oh my goodness. But you know me, I kept that wooden handle and the wooden knob the way that it was because I knew that I was going to want to distress this. Just my personal preference, the age of it all. So I'm just taking my orbital sander very gingerly, not heavily, here and there with some 220 sandpaper, and just letting it distress this bucket where it just kind of will distress it. Y'all know we crafters, we are not wasteful. So this is one of the pieces of paper that I had cut off, that original one that I did before the smaller one, and it is a perfect fit. So I'm going to do the same exact thing to attach it to this one. Yep, if you guessed it, yep, I'm going to add some of the transfers. Oh my gosh. It is just a beautiful, neutral, just, It makes you kind of glance twice at the item once you add these transfers onto that decoupage paper, and this color, this Bellwood color, just sets it all off. I have used so many pieces and parts of this Millot page. I highly recommend that. This is from the spring release. Oh my goodness, y'all.
So yes, y'all, I love decoupage paper. I loved ordering smaller sizes, sharing the process, that burning technique. Did I scare anybody? Did I scare you all? So yes, this will probably be the same intro, extro, whatever, for all three videos, because they just, when I started to put them all in one video, it was going to be hours. It was just going to be hours. So I tried to break them down into groupings, so you may not see these all right in the same order. Yeah, you might, of each other. It's just how everything falls in line. But oh my gosh, that burning technique is now always going to be my go-to. I was over safety first, y'all. Anyway, so I absolutely loved it. Adding the transfers, adding colors, taking those items that are always overlooked and putting something amazingly beautiful on them. Oh, y'all, they just have my heart. Guys, I hope I have inspired you. Give me a quick comment down below if I have inspired you in a new way to look at secondhand finds. Yes, everything that I used is down in the description box, along with the decoupage paper, the links for that, along with Vonda Store, the Painted Heirloom, where you can get colors if you are ready to transform. Like me, moving all from the black and white and doing a little bit more colors out there. So thanks again for watching, guys. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you are new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye!